Hello, ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentle homies, and the peeps. We are here on a Minecraft server. This is a realm. It's a Minecraft realm. This is something I've not done before. Made a Minecraft video. I've watched lots of Minecraft videos, and I have not made Minecraft videos, and so I'm gonna be trying to figure out how to do that. And you'll see I have stuff. That's because this is a world that I've been working on for a while, with a few other people. Not a whole bunch of other people, just like four of us, I think there is. And so I'm gonna try and talk and think about what I'm doing at the same time. This is multitasking, guys. Get used to it. I don't think those spruce trees are supposed to be there. That's unusual. Somebody must have planted spruce trees over here. And this actually isn't an area that I'm familiar with. So I've kind of wandered off because I didn't want to overwhelm the start of this episode with things that I've built. So I kind of wandered off, and I'm going to try and actually, I'm going to put this bed away so I don't accidentally use it, because I am going to try to kill some creepers. So the reason I didn't just start a new world, yeah, so it looks like someone planted. I wonder who came over here and planted these things. I don't think I did. That's normally something I do, though. Okay. So I didn't start a new world because, first of all, I've grown very fond of this world. And almost the whole. What is that noise? Oh my gosh. You see, I've turned my sound up so that people could hear the sound. But now that I've turned the sound up, I'm realizing like all the things I don't normally hear. Man, that hostile. That guy sounds angry. Let's turn that down. I'm gonna be noticing sounds that I've never even noticed before. Okay, this is interesting. Cool. All right. So here we go. So I didn't want to start a new world because I've become very fond of this world, and almost the whole reason for making videos was so that I can justify actually making things, because I've been spending a lot of time on Minecraft, on my builds, on my creations, and I'm just like, there's like the four people that are on the server that I can actually like appreciate the things that I'm building, and I'm like, I'm putting a lot of work into these things. And you know what I forgot to grab? Oh no, I didn't. I grabbed arrows. So first of all, my tools are named after psych references. So heard about Pluto, Psychic. Those are psych references, in case anybody's wondering. And where did that creeper go? I just saw him. Oh, he's over there. I'm not starting a new world just because, I want to, I really want to make videos to showcase the stuff that I've already been doing. So, I decided, I was like, all right, well, if I'm going to just bounce back into, or I'm just going to bounce everybody into this world, I was like, oh, I could just do a world tour as a first episode. So that's what this episode's going to be. It's going to be a world tour. And as I decided that, I was just about to start the video, and I was like, oh, it kind of seems silly, to not have any rockets to use for my elytra, uh, while I'm doing this tour. So I'm like, yeah, let me go get some gunpowder, so we can at least fly around some of the builds and some of the things I made. So that's what we're doing right now. Get out of here. Oh, I think I killed that guy. Dang it. Oh, crap. All right, so my strategy for getting gunpowder is to kind of weaken these guys. So I found that if I do a full pullback on my bow, yeah, it kills them. So I'm trying to do like kind of a half pullback here. Oh, crap. That guy's dead. And then use my looting sword. Yeah, so that guy died. Dang it. And last time I did this, actually, I died. So we're gonna try and do better. Especially given the fact that I'm in a place I don't really know. Actually, I mean, I kind of know the general area that I'm at, but I'm not super familiar with this area. So I'm just gonna wander around, kill some skeletons, or not skeletons. These are creepers. And oh, I thought we'd talk, but I don't know if I have anything else to say. Um, there's the what is it called? The COVID-19 crisis that's happening right now, kind of everywhere. And I've been less than productive during a good chunk of it. So Minecraft has absorbed a lot of my time. And I just kind of want to, I was kind of balancing, kind of fighting the the thought of like, I want to be productive. But I don't have any motivation to do anything. So I can either keep doing Minecraft, which seems silly because I'm making things and it's not going anywhere, or I can just stop playing Minecraft and try to actually, do some of my normal creative hobbies, which include film, photography, music stuff. And so there's another person, so I decided to do, trying to make some videos so that some other people can actually see some of the stuff I'm making. No, crap. Forgot to tell him not to sleep. Forget that we have that. So that's something we have on a server. Is we have a couple data packs. So they're all vanilla. First of all, I'll say. Um, nothing too crazy, and they're all to enhance the Minecraft experience, not make it just easier, but to make it to actually make us more productive with the things. Oh gosh, I'm getting tracked in the daytime. My goodness. All right, let's shoot this guy. Weaken him a little bit. Cool. Okay, we got 19 gunpowder. That's a good amount. So another goal for these videos, I think, is going to be to not just because, I mean, productivity is something that requires so much motivation. And that's just so hard to find when you don't really have any deadlines for anything. So I'm just going to try to keep these videos as simple as I can. Honestly, just, a lot of people do a bunch of jump cuts. I don't know. Video editing generally requires a lot of effort. And so I don't know if that's the same thing with something like game video editing. I think it's easier and to some extent because you're already at the computer. You're not recording things and then exporting them and then sorting through footage. Like, you kind of just know what you have, I guess, already. So hopefully, it's maybe easier to edit, but for the most part, I think I'm gonna try and just limit the amount of editing, at least when I start. Um, right now, well, I was gonna do a jump right now, but I guess I could just keep going. Yeah, let's just go make some elytra or some rockets, and start the world tour. And yeah, so I find that speech becomes deficit. Speech deficit? Nope. Yeah, that's ridiculous. It's definitely harder to talk when you try to do something at the same time and narrate it. But I guess that comes with practice. So, yeah, just you can bear with me, I guess, while I'm stumbling through words and stuff. This is more of a video logging thing for me, anyways. So now we're coming across our area. So this is the spawn area, which we just recently redid, actually. It was a mess for a very long time. We wandered a couple thousand blocks off and made our own bases. And we just came back to this area, and we came back so that we could make an iron farm. So we made the iron farm on top of a couple of the other players' old base. We were kind of jerks. We didn't do it with asking, but they had moved out, so we figured it was okay. And it turned out being okay. But that aside, we made an iron farm, and you'll see the work in progress, which is just a kind of platform for the portal. So the Nether portal, so we have all of our bases hooked up in the Nether. To kind of, I mean, I guess if you don't know how the Nether works, the Nether is like an eighth of the size of the overworld. So essentially, if you make another portal at your base a couple thousand blocks away, and then you make another portal somewhere else, you can get there with an eighth of the walking distance. So we have all our bases hooked up in the Nether for traveling. And so this is a work in progress. It's still got scaffolding all over it. And it looks pretty epic coming around the hill. That's kind of cool. And then that is the iron farm, which, because it is in the spawn area, which I don't exactly know how big it is, but it's constantly loaded. So this thing is constantly pushing out iron, which is pretty dope. And then I decided this platform, I kept it pretty simple, mostly because we shoved it on top of something else. So, if I could have destroyed all of that, I maybe would have made it something more complex, but it's also just weird because this already has a shape to it. So unless I want to do a big box, I couldn't think of anything with 4 pillars. So I kind of just went with a simple platform design. So you have those all suspended. Those already have kind of a look to it. And then I made this kind of platform. So this is just storage, which I thought looked cool. So it's just white shulker boxes with iron blocks, and everything we've done is in survival. So like I said, we have a couple data packs, and I'll explain what all of those do later. But everything, for the most part, is all just survival in this game. So we've done nothing. I've not added anything. I mean, I don't even want to really try to defend anything because it's just you know, you can take that or leave that. We've not cheated at all. It's all been from hard work and grit. Because I'm a survivalist through and through. And I'm gonna change this back to what it was doing. I needed some red dye, so I removed this composter. But this is a item sorter, so it takes the iron out of this, or it takes the. Oh my gosh! It takes the roses out. Because these are killing iron golems from the villagers that are spawning up there. I don't know if you don't know how an iron farm works, I'm not going to take the time to explain it. I honestly don't know all of it, but essentially it uses villagers, creates villages, and then villages spawn in golems for defense. So it's actually got a zombie wandering around up there to scare the villagers, and they like poop out iron golems pretty much. So that's what you hear dying, which I guess is probably pretty loud. I can probably turn that down. Those are friendly creatures. I'll turn those way down. We don't need to hear friendly creatures. So this is an item sorter because iron golems drop iron and they drop posies or roses, I guess. I don't know what they're poppies. That's what they're called. So this is taking the roses away from the iron. The iron's going into those chests, and the roses are going into this chest. But this is a composter, so that can turn those into bone meal, which is what this other side has been doing. And so that's what this side will now be doing. And then this is where all of the iron is going, and it's actually probably up here. Yeah, so all of these are full of iron. Same on this side. This has been running pretty much all day because I've been on a lot of the day, and I've also got a few of these filled up as well because I have been grinding over here. Most the rest I guess are empty. So this couple of box, this one's empty, this one's empty. But yeah, so this is just storage for all of that. And yeah, so this is the iron farm. I guess that's a quick tour of that. How long have I been going? Oh, I've been going for 12 minutes. So I guess we could speed this up because I don't want this to be super long. This is my buddy's little hobbit hole thing. It's very much a work in progress. There's really not too much to show. This is it. He just started on it though, so it's this is my portable mess. This is pretty much all of my storage. This is all the stuff that goes into my ender box with all my semi-organized things, which actually we need that so that I can make some flight thingies, which I only need 20, so just go like that. Boop, nailed it. Nailed it first try. All right. So this happens pretty much everywhere I go. Every project I work on, I just kind of sprawl out and spread out with things. A little super smelter. And so yeah, so this is what I'm working on right now, hence the scaffolding blocks. This shape sort of birthed out of something. I don't know. The original idea, and actually I guess I'm still kind of sticking with it. The original idea was just this floating island, and then I was gonna build these like spires, and I was gonna have iron bars kind of holding up the island. Haven't really decided if I still want the iron bars. But these spires came out gorgeous. They ended up looking more like tentacles than anything else. Oh, look, there's a. Have you heard about Pluto pigmen? Oh, wow, I missed. Oh, and no, you're gonna die. I've already committed to this. Nice and cool. And so yeah, they kind of end up looking like tentacles, and this thing became kind of a lot weirder than I thought it would look like. It for a while it started looking like Cthulhu, like an eyeball. Or like an Eye of Cthulhu, I guess, if you've played Terraria. And so, but it's kind of strayed away from that and kind of come back more to what I was originally envisioning, I guess. And I recently had an idea for the top of this thing, which I think is going to look freaking epic, but that was something that was going to take a lot of time. So I'll just kind of walk around this thing because this thing has a really nice, like, organic shape to it that I was actually, it kind of fails in some spots as you walk around it, but for the most part it holds up kind of all the way around, and it has this really nice coming out of the ground feeling. And so pretty excited about that. I've only textured down to that part right there, so all of that is pretty untextured. But I textured all these spires going up, textured a bit of the top of that thing. And if we go down here, you can see it's kind of pretty bare. I guess the spires come all the way down. But yeah, so I haven't really decided what to do with underneath that, but we'll get back to that because that is actually the current project that I'm working on. So, oh, if I can get out of here, let's go. Okay, so if we go up here, this is temporary. This is just a shape. I mean, the bridge isn't temporary, but the way it looks is temporary. And then I had this idea for this kind of pillar thing in here because I had this idea that it opens up to like a cave in there, but it kind of looked weird, like having it open in there and not being able to see something. So I was like, well, let me put a wall. There's enough space in here. So this is gonna change, but the concept of it is there. And this is gonna be a water elevator at some point. Just scaffold blocks for now, and this is kind of what the top looks like. And yeah, I needed something to give it some shape, and there's no black like half slabs. So I went with wood and kind of scattered it around, or it's dark oak wood. And it looks nice because it's dark and it's got these coal blocks. Kind of looks like ash, so wood actually kind of makes sense to be here. It'd be nicer if it could all just be black, but it really didn't look good with just full blocks. It just needed more shape to it. So, and so I guess that's that. I built this whole platform just because this thing you need to be able to come out like on a higher level. Plus, we want to do a lot more with the spawn area. Oh, and that up there is a villager breeder. It's not decorated or anything, so there's not really any reason to show it. But that's how we got the villagers for that. We just pulled a couple villagers over from another village, put them here, breed them up a little bit, and then through the 12 that's in there. So, but I built this whole platform so that you come out of the end of the portal and be like, whoa, there's a thing right there. So, yeah, so it's pretty sweet. And we'll go through and we'll go ahead and try and look at the other base. So that leads to the girls' base. There's a couple girls on the server. They kind of keep to themselves. They've been building in a house over yonder. This was their old base, so that just goes underground in the little mounds. That leads to the villager breeder. That was when we were moving villagers around. This leads to the other guy that's online right now's base. And he just started, so there's not too much to see there. Did he dig out this tunnel? Oh, he did. Nice. I have ice for him to put in this tunnel. So yeah, there's not too much to see down there yet. So this leads to the rest of the world. So we started out in these islands, which I guess I could show the islands. How much time am I at? I'm at 17 minutes. Dang, this takes a while. And I mean, it takes longer because I'm not doing too many cuts. I'll probably cut up the video a little bit. Maybe I'll just let it run. I don't know. I'm trying really hard not to breathe super heavy. I'm realizing that I'm kind of breathing really heavy. I don't know if that's because sitting down and talking is hard, apparently. So these are kind of labeled. We actually just changed it. We just started labeling these since we have a new guy on the server. That leads to the spawn in the iron farm and the girls' base. This leads to, we have a ender portal to the nether portal. Oh no, another portal to the end portal. This also leads to a mesa biome. I'm not gonna do that thing again. I'm gonna try and I'll just stop talking for a second and fix it. Okay, so that leads to the end. So I guess I can go through here real fast. It's nothing decorated, but you come through here, and here's the end portal. We've already beat the dragon. It's the little messiness of chests here. It's been pretty emptied out. There's a chicken here. Get out of here. So yeah, I guess we'll end up doing more in the end. We kind of want to refight the dragon. What do we want to refight the dragon for? To get a couple more portals. There's a couple other reasons we want to fight the dragon, but we'll go back to that. Oh, look at that, another sign. That's helpful. So down further leads just to a mesa biome. It's just helpful getting, or a badlands biome, I guess is what they're called now. It's just helpful having portals that lead to different biomes so that we can collect resources. That one being particularly far away, it was worth it to make a portal to it. So through here is our first base. I'm going to turn the brightness down a little bit because this has a really nice ambiance to it. There's a couple missing half slabs right here. So this is where we first came, and we kind of traveled. We were riding around on boats, me and my buddy, and we saw this island. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Am I in swim mode or am I in fly mode? What the heck? Okay, what's actually happening here? Look at this. I'm stuck. This looks so goofy. What is happening here? Okay, well, we're just gonna stay here. So we were kind of swimming along, just chilling. I think I'm in fly mode. Yeah, look at that. That's in fly mode. That is so weird. All right, so we were kind of just rocking around on boats. We float up, and I was like, oh, there's this cool kind of cave here. So we pulled into this cave, and this cave was a lot smaller than this. So I kind of mined into, the cave a little bit, and decided to start making a custom cave. So this is the first custom cave I've done on here with, these were new at the time, and they're still pretty new. But stone stairs and stone half slabs. So I was like, all right, let me make like a little chest room, which I kind of took this inspired off of, another YouTuber. Um, but his looked different. I'll take ideas from people. Well, I tried not to take ideas from people too much, but this I definitely took from another guy who had like kind of a cave with a chest room. The difference is he didn't use his chest room, so I actually put this to good use. You can see it's actually still full of a few things, not super useful things, but that's still pretty interesting. That's kind of cool to see. It feels lived in. That's what's nice. Although it does feel kind of bare, actually, now that I think about it. So this was our first mine. So again, continuing this custom cave. This is all just dirt or stone. I mined this out. And so we made this little platform. I made these other caves because caves have just like kind of crevices, and they have kind of crevices that you don't really go through. And I'll look down in a second, but so I kind of wanted to make this feel like an actual cave. So that I made bigger, which is just kind of a stupid size for a portal, but it kind of had this cool feel that it's off to the side. And is this really the darkest it goes? I guess that kind of feels right. The lighting feels kind of off in here. I wonder if this maybe used to not be here. It feels like it used to be darker. I guess I'll put that back so nothing spawns. But yeah, so that we made this later. This is a quick drop because this actually we mined all the way down. So we actually did this I think the first day probably. I like to, part of my process is making the area that I live in and actually use pretty. So I don't like to use an area and it not be pretty, and I don't like to make a really pretty area that's not being used. So I kind of decorate as I go. And so this became just this kind of gorgeous, and I loved that too. That was a good idea that I had, just to make these support beams. Although this also makes the staircase really dangerous because you can't just hug the wall, because if you hug the wall, then you end up falling off. But it looks really nice coming down and looking up because it just, the stairs actually comes off the wall. Yeah, so that happens. But I made a ladder, so it's all good. And we didn't spend very much time down here, actually. We had a couple mining sessions, and I think, yeah, we barely spent any time down here at all, actually. Now that I think about it, we moved on pretty fast. So is there anything left here? Nothing at all. Actually, I'll take those torches. I mean, might as well. And then this is slow as heck. Holy crap. Oh my gosh, can you believe using ladders before water elevators? Who'd have thunk? And I still haven't made those rockets, otherwise I would just fly up this thing. But we're just gonna go all the way up, and we're at 23 minutes already. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know if I'll cut this video up. I don't want to add a bunch of extra work to me. I just kind of want to put this video out, but maybe we'll just go for like a 40-minute video. Oh my gosh, that'll be really long, but whatever. If anyone wants to watch a world tour, it's there. Let's craft some firework rockets. Okay, so this is kind of the uppity area, and again with the farms, we were very much using these farms, but I just wanted to make them pretty. I love just having farms kind of everywhere and built into the landscape. I think it's so suitable to not mess with the terrain, especially early on. It's just kind of build into the terrain, and it looks really pretty. So we had a couple jokes happening there. This was fun. We had this little tunnel that you could go through. I just wanted to show them that was a thing. And these platforms, this is all pretty much really undone. We do have so we will be back to these islands at some point. I haven't worked on the islands at all because I just don't have any really reason to. I have another base that's been very developed. But we will be back here at some point because there is a guardian farm over here. Or not a guardian farm, there's a guardian temple. So it has been cleared out of the elder guardians. It has not been drained out yet. So that is something that needs to happen. Oh, what the heck? That was weird. But oh, what is that? There's like glistening. Oh, nothing. Okay. But there's really not been much happening. We tried to hatch turtles here, but that was just a hut for the turtles. But yeah, so we'll be back here at some point, but not probably anytime soon. I don't really have any plans to make a. I don't really need a guardian farm, right now, but someday. So yeah, this is the starter island. I've actually never flown over this. It's kind of cute. Doesn't really have much going on though, so very much a starter place. Had some plans for it, but they kind of fell through when we moved to the next area. So I started this area with two buddies. They kind of dipped on me for just a little bit, not permanently, but they dipped on me for just a little bit. And I had another buddy start, and so he didn't want to start in our base, so we went and found another area to start a base. And that is where my main base is, where I've done a lot of work. So I guess I'll leave out what the others have done, because my friend Garrett's base is in here or over here. My friend Zach's base is over here, and they're big too, and they have a little bit of tour that could be had with them. But I guess I kind of just want to focus on what I've done. So that leads to my friend Zach's base. This comes out in the center of my base area, and here we go. So this is what we called the Eden Project, I guess, or I guess what is still considered the Eden Project. So that's Garrett's base. Those are kind of some of his structures that he's got going on. And this is my base. So again, the area I just want to feel super lived in. So I don't think I'm gonna fly around my area too much. I'll fly around it a little bit, maybe in the end. But for the most part, I'm gonna walk through my area because the main thing that my area has is this beautiful feeling when you just walk through it. And it just feels lived in too because it has been. So this is the kind of center of my base, and it's got this weird tree that was this awesome tree that was a lot of work. A lot of effort went into that. This is my first attempt to do custom trees. So this isn't my first custom tree. There's a couple others that I tried first. This is definitely the biggest custom tree that I've tried to do. Well, next to the one that's back there that I did after this one. But yeah, I learned a lot while doing this tree, and I would probably fix a few parts of it right now. It looks really good from like right here. You can very much tell that this is where I would come while I was working on it. I would come stand right here, and I was like, oh yeah, it looks great from right here. As you walk around it, it definitely suffers a little bit. Like right here, it feels a little awkward. Like, why doesn't it spread over the building maybe a little bit more? So maybe I'll fix it in the future. Maybe I won't. Honestly, I probably won't. Because it has a sort of nice feel to it. But this, yeah, I mean, I learned a lot. So that was the important thing. This is like a lazy custom tree because I had already built like 3 other ones. So I was like, I don't really want to do another one. So I just kind of made some roots and then planted a tree up there. So you kind of walk through here. There's a llama. Oh, I named him. That's so funny. That's funny that he's stuck because I think that's only like a 1 high area. I named him a while ago, and I was like, I don't think he'll stick around because it's only 1 high. But if he does, it'd be funny if I named him. And now it is funny, because we've got Bert here. So I've done a lot of AFK fishing, so I have a lot of name tags. So I've kind of just been using them really flippantly and naming everything. And it's very fun. So yeah, and there actually is a few unused portions of my base. Like this is pretty unused. This is just kind of like a little ruins area I made. So, I took some inspiration from a couple pictures, and yeah, there's still some drawbacks with it. Like it definitely needed something else. I don't know. It just doesn't feel as grand as it was supposed to. When you're way off in the distance, it feels kind of cool, like coming up on it because these stick like way above the trees, and they have just kind of this cool overlooming feel to them. But when you're down here, it just doesn't feel as big as I was kind of hoping it would. When you kind of walk up here, it does feel kind of big, so that's kind of cool, I guess. Like, especially with these like roots coming through. I wanted like this root coming like over the pathway, and I thought that was really cool. But it doesn't have the same kind of big feeling that I was wanting it to have. But It's still got a kind of cool feeling. It's got like a little storage room, which is actually pretty full of stuff. Actually, I need to come here and kind of clear this out because this actually probably has a lot of stuff. Yeah, I would use all of that like right now. And a bunch of scaffolding blocks. Oh my gosh, and a ton of quartz. Dang, I should really come clear this out because this has a lot of stuff that I've actually been kind of needing. And so, but that was all kind of left there because I was still working on it. And these trees were supposed to have leaves on them, but I never got to it. So they don't look bad though as just or just raw trees. But you can see that the reason I didn't put more, the way I designed this kind of ruin thing is I wanted it to look like trees kind of broke through them. So you can see there's like space carved out right here. There's space like kind of carved out like right there. So it makes sense that like, oh, a tree broke this. A tree started growing and it kind of turned these into really, really loose ruins. So, and this was my try at a water fountain. I don't really do water fountains very often because I just hate how they all kind of look the same. And so I wanted to do this kind of rock and just have water coming out of it. So I tried to do this like boulder thing in the middle. Kind of a so-so attempt. I think this is the best I could have done then. Maybe the best I could do now. This has a look to it. It feels nice in here. It's nice with the trees coming up to it. I do like that this tree kind of spreads out here. I learned that like one of the key to doing trees is to make them look as balanced as at the top. Like how they spread out with their roots is how they spread out with their overhangs too. So it does look kind of nice in this area having that. And so this is another tree I did. This tree's freaking huge. This tree is probably like 9 to maybe 12 stacks of what is it, spruce. It's a big tree. And this tree also feels really nice from like right here, but it kind of suffers from other angles. That's like one thing with organic builds is getting them to look right all the way around is pretty tough. But it up close it looks fine. Oh, there's a scaffolding block up there. Oops. That's my bad. So this bridge, I'm super proud of this bridge. This bridge just has this wonderful, like round, organic feel to it. And it's all like just this. It looks like this old stone bridge, and a lot of bridges like just don't have this like nice curvature to them like actual stone bridges had. And so I was just looking at like stone bridge pictures, and I was like, this thing could really work at like an odd angle. In fact, it works way better that it kind of hits a diagonal here. And I was really proud of this bridge just because it has this wonderful curve to it. And it blends into the landscape so nice. And bamboos were a huge part to this to make this pop. And actually, I meant to do like a custom kind of water fountain waterfall thing here, but I never got to it. I just kind of put it there, and I was like, oh yeah, that's nice. And I'll fix that later, but I never did. But it really helps this bridge. Just the bamboo, and the water fountain behind it makes it where the depth just really, really works. And it's kind of annoying because like the best view is like a view you don't even get. Like you never view it from right here. Oh my gosh, but it looks so good. Wow. So proud of that build. I wonder, yes, I should really make a way where you can like view that better because it's so pretty from like right up there. But maybe I'll get to that. I love that bridge. I'll gawk at that all the time. So you come down here, and this and that are entrances to my main base. Let me come over this way, and actually, I think I'll start here. So I loved that bridge so much that I made another one. And this one is arguably better, maybe worse, or arguably worse, but it's got the same kind of feel to it. Yeah, I definitely don't like this one as much, but there I did a kind of custom water fountain hill thing. And yeah, it's got a nice feel to it. All the paths I love. They just feel natural, like wandering around in this area. And so, oh, well, that doesn't feel nice. But it just feels good walking around in this area. So that's something I really enjoy. And so this one has like a really nice feel. So off in the distance is my Babel project, and it is also unfinished, which is almost suitable for it. So first of all, I have this custom kind of terraformed area right here. where I tried to make this kind of just a cliff valley sort of thing. Running out of breath, talking in very long sentences. I probably should cut that part because that's a little silly. Yeah, so I custom terraformed this area. And I kind of made this actually goes into a cave. This one also goes down into a cave. Oh, nope, that one doesn't go into a cave. This one, wait, no, that one was supposed to. I guess I never finished that one. This also goes down into my base. And I've got like a little hidden thing right there. It's not super hidden. The point is that you kind of see it. But you come through here, and this arch is like part of that design because it just gives you this kind of opera house effect where you come through and the thing just looks so much bigger than it actually. I mean, it is pretty big, but it just makes it look so grand and just epic. And that was supposed to be like a story higher. So if you imagine just like this coming up to like right here is kind of where it was supposed to end. I was maybe gonna go a little bit taller, but after, I mean, this thing's all just a facade for a cactus farm. So I ended up running out of steam for this one. So I kind of need to come back and finish this one. But also, part of the design was that it was gonna be unfinished. Because it's Tower of Babel, so you know they never finished the Tower of Babel. So it's like, I was gonna make it kind of look like it was still in construction, but kind of abandoned, and that's kind of what it's become on accident. Is it's not been finished, so I'm like, yeah, I don't really need to touch it right away. I don't need to rush on, to finish it. So I've kind of just left it, and I do hope to finish it because it could look just a lot better, but it's not the worst thing just sitting there. It's not an eyesore or anything. It kind of has a proper feel to it. I'm forgetting to eat because I'm talking. That's kind of weird. Here we go. All right, and we've eaten. So yeah, that's a cool project. I have another project out in the desert over there, but it's very unfinished. So we took like a long server break. Um, and when I got back, well, we took a long server break because none of us were really playing, so we stopped paying for the server. And so we just recently got back on. And when I got back on, I kind of had a hard start because I was like, I don't really feel attached to my base anymore. I don't really know what to work on. I have all these huge projects that I've started and just no motivation to keep them going. So I was like, maybe I'll try and go start out on the desert because I want to continue off of something I've already done. That's kind of the whole point of, getting back on the same world. So I kind of moved out here, started this little area, and kind of, I guess you can kind of see the starts of like how things like that happen. Because yeah, I just tried to start making this area feel lived in. That was like my little storage area. I was gonna make like a little campsite. And then I was trying to make this little desert oasis type thing over here. So I custom did all that stone right there, and yeah, this area has a lot of potential. So I definitely plan on coming back here at some point. Just not anytime, probably soon. Just because I have a lot of other um main projects that I'm working on, so I definitely plan on coming back there. But um, right now, that's just gonna sit on the back burner. It's got a nice little start to it, so whenever I do come back, I'll definitely be able to just keep going on that. I'm sure, hopefully. And that thing looks freaking awesome. And you'll kind of see maybe if I can. Oh, maybe you won't see. Maybe it doesn't feel as epic as I thought. You can kind of feel the ruins. Oh, what? I thought they stood up above the trees a lot more. Now I'm wondering. I wonder if I came in flying. I might have like thought they looked epic when I'm flying. So I mean, yeah, you can kind of feel that ruins in the distance feel. Let me kind of maybe fly around and let's see what that feels like. Yeah, so I mean, I guess from flying, it feels pretty cool coming in on those things. So we're at 40 minutes now. Holy crap! So we haven't even gotten to the second part of the. We haven't even gotten to the main base. Um, Maybe I'll start a new episode at this point. Maybe I'll just split it into 2 episodes and just release them as 2 episodes. I guess I could do that. Um, so I guess I'll just keep going. I don't know. Yeah, we'll just do 2 episodes, whatever. Or maybe we'll just do we'll just do one long episode. What the heck? Screw it. This is a base tour. Um, this will just be the start to something, and then I'll just keep everything going from there. So all the episodes after this will be a lot shorter than an hour long. But for now, I'm not gonna suffocate this one. I'm gonna let it breathe. So this is my main base, underground, and y- uh, and actually the water flowing right now makes this look like it's kind of messy. I have a lot of plans for this place still. They're just big plans, and I ran out of drive, so it just needs a lot of work. But this is the main base. So, um, the original idea was to have this kind of floating island. Like I said, this is the Eden project. So I was gonna build like a floating island, that was like Eden, right? And then whenever they got kicked out of the garden, they moved like underground and had like a village or whatever underground, and um, it kind of just became this underground project primarily. And I still have kind of wondered, like, I don't know if I'll build the island still. I don't think it would look bad. I don't know if it needs it per se, but that's where water is going to be flowing down. Water will be flowing down, probably right where somewhere else. Oh, water bill will be flowing from that down. So that's gonna be a huge lake down there at some point. But I mean, I guess I won't talk too much about base plans. I guess I would just kind of try and show off what I've done. So this has two entrances. It has this cave entrance, which is just an entrance. And then up top here, it has an entrance and an exit. So this is the main exit. So this path doesn't go anywhere. I made it where it can go somewhere. I've connected it to this like little lake because I made this little river thing. If you can't tell, because it's pretty obvious. But it can come over here. So whenever I expand over here, it can kind of turn into something. Oh, that's not the way back. Oh my goodness, I'm getting lost. All right, so we can go down this way. So then there's another bridge here, and this is an entrance and an exit. I don't think that's a custom tree. No, I just grew that tree. But this is a cool place because you can just kind of take off from here. But this is the entrance. So we come in through here. Got a cool little custom cave. Got a cool rock here. I was pretty proud of this rock. I think this rock turned out nice. And you can just swoop, and it swoops right into our chest room. So there's two portals in the Nether. This is where the second one comes out. This is actually the main portal I use all the time. I don't normally come out of my tree. So here is my chest room. So my idea was I wanted this like garden type room, with an efficient way to reach chests. Because for the most part, um, actually I don't remember what was the idea if you're here. I wanted a bridge, and I just wanted you to be able to reach over to your chests. Because every chest room I've ever made has just been this like grid of chests, and I was like, I want to add an arc to my chests because what the heck, I can do that. And I don't really use the chest room that often anymore, honestly. Most of my storage is in my shulkers now. But I do still come here for mass stuff, so I still have like I guess dirt stored here. What have I been using it for? Um, yeah, I really don't use this very much. I put a bunch of ice in here, so that's useful. Um, I use no, I don't use this chest room very much anymore. It will become important again once I start getting like a mass of items again from different farms. Because right now I only have a couple farms. Like the iron farm, and I have that cactus farm, which I don't really use for cactus. I use for XP, but I'll show you that in a second. But so down here, I had like mass storage. So this isn't just a pretty room. It is definitely more pretty than it is functional, but it also has a function. So it's also deep storage. So where I can keep loads of stuff like this, because you gather this stuff in loads. And then I've got, I guess, a couple extra ones. Oh my gosh, I have a lot of cobblestone. Um, and then I got a bunch of fish here from the fishing farm, bunch of saddles. Then I have some smooth stone here, which I haven't bothered to fill up most of these in a long time. Then I also have a couple other things. I don't really use these chests that much anymore, but um, yeah. So I mean, it's got just this really nice. You're loud, buddy. Kill you. Get out of here. And so, but yeah, I love the feel of this room, and it just feels so nice to use. It's got this cool ladder. I love this ladder. That was like a kind of spark of brilliance because I was like, I don't really want to put something ugly in the middle of the room that you have to get up, but it doesn't make sense to go all the way to like a wall to use an elevator or something. So I was like, oh well. First of all, you're not having to just go slow up this ladder. It's only a few blocks that you're using this ladder. Plus, you're going up a hill, so it's actually even less time, and you can do a little jump there. So Convenience, it really isn't that hard to use. And this looks really nice. It's so fun to walk through and use. And I use it pretty frequently because actually the rest of the vertical travel in my base is pretty inefficient. So, um, it's actually one of the more efficient parts of the vertical travel, and it's very used. So then over here, we've got unused territory. Actually, I'll show you the rest of the first level. The rest of the first level. Did I say that? I don't know if I said that right. I'm getting so excited. There's so much. There's so much to show you guys. Most of my base is interconnected too, so it's kind of hard to show you just like one level. Because you'll see, I was like, I'm not gonna make it where everything's stuck to one level of design. Like my chest room, like yeah, it could just all be on this one level, but I can do so much more with make it a big, pretty room. So I was like, I'm gonna make it 2 levels. But then I have like the fishing farm, which only needs to be 1 level, so it's only 1 level. And then I have this room, and so this room is probably the most ridiculous room I've done as far as like functionality. I try to balance functionality to prettiness, and this room is pretty much all just for vanity, and it looks awesome. But it does not have that much function. So this is my enchanting room, and this isn't a huge hole, but at the time it was a huge hole, because it was before I had like really nice diamond gear, and it was when way before I had a beacon. So this was a very big hole to mine out, and that was a lot of concrete to mine as well. My lighting's on moody, right? Yeah, cool. So this is based off of an Avatar episode, The Last Airbender, where they go to the desert and they find this village, or not a village, they find a library. And there's like this, well, it's like an observatory type room, but it's like a calendar. So there's like the moon and the sun right there, and you can kind of, rotate and tell the days. So, I wanted to make this, and my biggest critique of this, I think this is about as good as I could have made it with the size that I made it. I think something that would make it 100 times better is if it was just 2 blocks bigger, maybe on each side, which would be a lot more digging. But if it was 2 blocks bigger on each side, and then it was completely surrounded in a glass like dome, so you'd be looking through the glass and seeing all of the depth and stuff. I think that would make it so much better. But alas, I won't do that. So this is how it is. That's my biggest critique on this. But I'm still really proud of this project, and I think it just looks incredibly dope. In here we've just got our enchanting table, crafting bench, just a couple raw things. Not too much going on in here. That's pretty much it. I actually do use it, but it's opposite of my base as the XP farm, so I've been thinking I need to make another one, which is kind of a shame because this room's so beautiful to come into, but it's just so ridiculous to use because it's in an inconvenient spot, and this room doesn't serve any other function other than looking dope and enchanting in the very center of the room. So yeah, that is that. Here is my AFK fishing farm, which I've pretty much only decorated this part because I didn't feel the need to decorate the other part. So it's kind of just a mess in here. But this is where I've done AFK fishing. This is that little crevasse from the valley up top that leads down into the room below. So yeah, this is where I've done AFK fishing. You can see I've done quite a bit of fishing. Very good for early starts. I still use it for books, but I don't really I don't really need too much books. I just need mending books at this point. And I really need to just get into villagers to get more mending books because mending books are so rare from fishing, which they should be. But yeah, so I didn't really decorate that room. I just decorated that spot of the room. Did I name the fishing pole? I should name that. Oh, that would be so much funnier if it was like named. Let's go, whatever. Boop. So this room, so this is another example of where I mixed 2 levels together. So this is actually 2 levels. So this is the room for the second size too, or the second level too. This is the cup farm. So this is how I get my fuel, and this is how I get my XP. In hindsight, I should have made this a lot bigger, because this thing is freaking awesome. And so if I would have known how useful this thing is, I would have probably just doubled it, man. I would have made it way down here. This is just a facade. I plan to expand this way if I need to. I may not need to. Actually, the creeper farm might expand that way. Because creeper farm is next on my list, so I'll be looking for a spot for that. But this thing looks really cool walking through. I don't walk through here very much because there's no really reason to walk through here. Because there's nothing kind of happening over here, but I do love the design of this room. I think it feels just grand and epic, and it kind of has this industrial feel to it, which the rest of my base doesn't really have now that I think about it. But either way, it doesn't feel off. It just feels a little bit different than the rest of my base, which is perfectly fine. So then we're back on this level. So there's the chest room, there's the kelp farm over here. This will be something. I was gonna do animal farms over there, so I don't exactly know what this is gonna be. But this is a sheep baying room. I've got sheep here, I've got cows, and I've got chickens. So all for later projects. All farms I've not even touched, which seems really weird, considering I have an iron farm and a really efficient XP farm, but I don't even have a sheep farm or a cow farm or a chicken farm. But they're all things I can work on. So over here, this room had a lot of potential, but this was a bigger project than I thought it would be. And so I was just trying to go all out with a custom cave. And so I was kind of taking inspiration off like Skyrim caves, like just the way they have this like feel of just like this perfect mixture of like outdoors and indoors. And so I was gonna try and build some custom trees in here and just make this feel really, really big, even though it's all in a cave. And so I was gonna build like a little house, like a little grotto type thing right here. And this is where I was gonna do my farming. So I was gonna try and make like a little sheep pen over here. And I was gonna have this river run down to something. I don't really know exactly what. And then this cave, I was just gonna kind of have it end. So this was all just kind of gonna kind of curl around, and then I was just gonna end it because actually a lot of Skyrim caves kind of do that. Like they'll have this thing where they look huge, but they don't really go anywhere. So they're kind of just facades a lot of times. So this definitely has that kind of feel, and it does really warp back really nice. It feels like it goes somewhere, but it doesn't. So I've got this fallen tree right here, and maybe the river would just go do the same thing. It just kind of go off somewhere, but not really go anywhere. So yeah, but that's this room. This room has a lot of potential. I just need to keep grinding out the roof because it's a lot of work doing these like custom roofs that just have this cave feel to them. So, but yeah, that's that. So, and that, just remember what that looks like. That was actually the plan for the entire lower level. Um, so after I started this one and realized how much work those roofs are, I kind of lost all steam for the very bottom level. But really, I just need to section it off so that I can actually just do it in pieces and try and get off on this level. So this is all temporary, but I just need to section it off and do it in pieces because I want to see this done. It's just going to be a lot of work and it's going to take some time. So this is what it looks like from down here, by the way, in case I was wondering. So the only really thing I have on this level, I've just kind of got these stairs. So I've actually still got lots of room for different things on this in this base. But so the only thing I've done on this lower level, and it really feels lower level. It's got this nice feel to it. And I've tried to figure out how the water elevators play into this, but I don't know how I feel about this. I don't really like this. But I don't want these like side pathways because then why do you have these bridges? But I'm figuring all of that out. But anyways, this is my furnace room. So this is what's connected to the kelp farm and the cactus farm. So the way this works, the kelp all comes down here. So it actually stores back here. I should probably put a door on that. But it all stores back here. And this is how I get pretty much unlimited fuel. So this thing runs itself, essentially. So it cooks kelp, turns it into dried kelp, which is it down here. I then craft the dried kelp into dried kelp blocks. I then load the furnace up with dried kelp blocks, and then it smelts more kelp. And this thing produces just tons and tons of fuel. As you can see, I've been collecting dried kelp. And each dried kelp block smelts 14 items. So then what I do is I turn that around, and the excess that I get from that, I then run into my cactus farm smelting. So all of my cactus come through on this side into these, and then I use dried kelp to then smelt the cactus. These stop this up, so this one's actually about to stop. So all the furnaces that are off, are out of cactus, which is wrong. That's a little weird. So I haven't been over in this area a lot, but I have extra cactus right here, so actually I can just keep this thing going. So normally when they're off, that'll mean that they've finished smelting and that they're ready to be used. But I'll go ahead and manually load this guy up, I guess. Just because this area has not been running very much, so it hasn't filled up again. But there we go. I'm gonna have to do that a lot more than I thought, huh? Is this filling back up? This shouldn't fill back up. Wait, did that work? Oh, that's just started filling these up. Okay, yeah, I need to do that a little bit more. Yeah, what the heck? We'll just do that a few more times. I'm not gonna come back here. So, so then that happens, and then I'll show you how that thing works here in a second. Yeah, we'll just do this one last one, and then I won't, because I apparently can't do two things at once. That's kind of crazy. I can't talk. Oh, well, go in the water. Oh, well, you are a rebel, Mr. Stack of Cactus. All right, there we go. All right, so, okay, look at that. Loaded them all up. So these have now stopped. So what you do, this loads only a certain amount. And I don't know exactly why we use that much. I did pretty much all of this off of tutorials. And then just kind of customize it to fit my base. But this is based off an Exuma Void tutorial. And so he does this so that you get a certain amount of XP. So this furnace has stored the XP from stacking all of these stacks of cactus. So then when I pull this out, you'll notice my levels down here. I just got 8 levels. So I can just go down here, down the line, clear these out, and they will keep going. And I have gotten a bunch of levels. So this thing is just such an efficient XP farm. I wish XP had always worked like this, because I would probably always build these. But from now on, I always will build these, because these are definitely my favorite way of getting XP passively. Because they're just so on command. I don't have to go kill something or stand AFK at a farm to get levels. Like, I can just come get some XP from furnaces. And the main thing is that I'm not having to use another tool to get these. And also, another way these are awesome is, I guess you can see that my elytra healed. If I would have been holding my pickaxe, it would have healed my pickaxe too. So yeah, so I guess that's the furnaces, the XP farm. That's how I get my XP. And so yeah, I guess that's the. Oh, I guess there's this lower level. So this level's really undone. The plan was to build this, first of all, a lake down here, so you kind of just jump in from the top, and also it has water flowing down. And then also build just this giant cave with like villages and I mean just a bunch of things happening. So, but very much a work in progress. And yeah, just a lot of work that needs to be done on it. But yeah, so that's the base, I guess. And has this cool feel flying over it too. But most of my base all has this feel kind of as you're walking into it. There's my buddy's base. Here's my other friend's base. And yeah, that's kind of the thing. We've got a skeleton grinder, I guess, of note here. There's a skeleton farm down there. That's how we get arrows and bones. And there's not too much else to show in this area. Oh my gosh. I almost destroyed myself. Wow. That would have been funny. But let me think. I don't think there's really anything else to show in the world. Yeah, there's a girl's base. There's the new guy, Andrew's base. But as far as my stuff, that's pretty much it. my plan right now is to try and develop the community area or develop the spawn area best I can, because I just want to use that area a lot more. And I want everybody to be using that area a lot more. It just feels a lot cooler having everybody kind of in a centralized location, or having a centralized location for everybody to interact in. So that's probably where I'll be starting with the next episode, is just over in that area and continuing the portal project. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the base tour. We're at an hour even. So I guess I'll just leave it at that. And I'll probably leave this video uncut. So if you watched this whole video, I doubt you did. So I guess leave a comment if you watched the whole video. And that's pretty much it. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Laters, taters.